making a dish that is possibly a dessert if you want it to be, or possibly a salad to go with the rest of your meal. It's definitely dessert worthy, but it's going to be a citrus salad. So we're going to make a dressing first. We're going to get our mixing bowl, and this is a simple dressing. I today am using Bee Free Honey. Now if you don't have this, you don't have to use this or go look for it, but I think it's delicious. I came across it recently at the Natural Products Expo, and it passed my husband's test, and if it passed his test, I know it's good. So I bought a couple bottles, and you can see this one is our first one. It's almost empty. I'll read you the ingredients list. It is just apple juice concentrate, water, non-GMO sugar, and some lemon juice. So that's it, just 4 ingredients. And you could alternately use regular honey if you use honey. You could use agave or some other liquid sweetener for this dish. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon. This is making a dressing. We're going to mix this with some fresh squeezed lime juice. That's probably going to finish my bottle out just about perfectly. So I have a lime here, and we're going to juice just half of it because it is a bit on the large side. So a trick to juicing citrus is placing it on your cutting board or counter and just pressing and rolling a little bit. You can do this with lemons too. It breaks up the fibers a little bit and makes it easier to juice when you cut into it. So I'm just going to cut this in half. And didn't do a very good job, so I'm going to use the larger half for my dressing. And you don't need any special tools. You could use a citrus juicer that you press on, or one of the little ones you twist in your fruit. But I just put it cut side up into my hand and squeeze. And then I just rotate that, and it works just as well, and it's one less dish to do when it comes time to do dishes. Especially with limes, we don't have to worry about seeds popping out, but you can do the same with lemons if you're careful that the seeds don't pop through your fingers and into your dish. So that is juice of half of our lime there. And then I'm going to mince some fresh mint leaves. So I'm just going to do the leaves of about 1 sprig of mint here. And what I do is just kind of bunch them together into a little roll and thinly slice. And just be careful when you get close to your fingers at the end. And we're going to stir all this together as our dressing. There we go. So now all we have left to do is cutting up our citrus fruit. I'm going to rinse the lime off my hand real quick. So I have 1 orange and 1 grapefruit today. If you don't like one or the other, you can do this with just grapefruit or just oranges. But the trick to this is we want to cut off the outside peel first. So I just cut into it and go all the way around, and I'll show you as I do this. But we want to expose the fruit. We don't want the white pith left. So you want to try to cut as close to that as possible. I'm wasting a little bit of fruit. And then now you can see what you're doing, and cut the rest off. There's little bits, it's no big deal, that's okay. And now that we've cut into the orange, I'm just going to cut it into sections. Now, I can see the sections, but they're not perfectly lined up, and so I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to start by cutting it in half, and then I'm going to cut this into 4 slices. So we've got little wedges of our orange here. We'll do the same with the other side. Smells like fresh orange juice in here. Now we've got our grapefruit. So the grapefruit is a little bit bigger, and it should be, when we cut into it, a lot easier to section into pretty wedges. I have a ruby grapefruit today, but you could use whatever is on sale or whatever your supermarket has available. If you have a farmer's market, it's about that time of year where the farmer's markets are available. I am in Washington State, near Seattle, so it's not quite time for all the beautiful farmer's markets here yet. Okay. So with grapefruit, a lot of people tell me they absolutely hate grapefruit. And the reason that probably is, and I promise them to at least try it this way once, is the white pith between the layers of grapefruit don't taste very good. They're bitter. So I section my grapefruit, and so I'm going to use a smaller knife for that. And you can see, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I can see here, where the lines distinctly are. So you just take your knife and cut on one side of the line, and then on the other side. And you should, if I did a good job, pop out a nice, beautiful section of grapefruit. And then we're just going to go around and do that all the way around. So we'll come back in just a second once I've done that. All right, I didn't want to bore you to have you watch me do that whole thing, but what you're left with is the membrane pieces from between each wedge, kind of like a little book here. So we've cut all the beautiful wedges out and added them to our oranges. So I'm just going to toss those around so we can see some of the oranges through there too. And all we're going to do is add that dressing we just made. So our simple 3-ingredient dressing. It's going to be a little sweet to go with our fruit, and the mint flavor goes wonderful with citrus. And there you have it, a dessert or a beautiful summer salad.